Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing The Punch. Who has another story?
Two Nigerians, Anthony Ibeki and Samuel Anyuku, have been sentenced by United States federal jury to 30 years combined jail term for defrauding some U.S. citizens of $3.5 million. Yes, they were involved, the duo were involved in deceiving victims by telling them that they have inherited some amount of money, substantial amount of money, and that they needed to pay them some money to be able to release their inheritance to them. I don't know that people still fall for these things. Yes, I can't believe it. Follow. And it also noted that they carried out romance scams whereby they'll create romantic relationships with people. They'll go on online dating platforms. They'll go on social media, Instagram and everything, create a relationship with you. Then they'll start asking you for money, come up with stories that they are dying, they're in the hospital or something like that. And then the victims will send them money. They had other accomplices that will be sentenced December 18th, that joined them, that were accomplices to the crime. So people should be careful. I can't believe that in 2024 people are still falling.
We already know about these things now. You'll be surprised.
Yeah.
Surprised though.
Okay, Governor Adeleke, that's Governor Ademola Adeleke, that's of Osun State, said on Monday that his administration has outperformed his predecessors. According to him, he has disbursed over 47 billion naira in gratuity payments to retirees since taking office in November 2022, surpassing the combined report of his immediate predecessors, that's former Governor Rauf Aregbesola and former Governor Adegboyega Oyetola, who paid 34 billion naira over 12 years. So according to him, I was speaking at the event in Osogbo where bond certificates worth about 1.9 billion were being presented to pensioners from the state, local government services. Adeleke emphasized the administration's commitment to addressing the challenges facing pensioners. I remember during the request for last time, there were quite a number of pensioners that said that he wasn't paying pensions. So he's saying that I've paid much more than they have all paid in just 2 years. My administration has paid 22.6 billion naira for state pensions and 25 billion for local government pensioners, bringing the total to 47 billion. This means we have paid almost 70% of what the previous administrations paid in 12 months in the last 2 years. So at least, aside from dancing, he's paying pensions. That's
a good thing.
My story is about the JACPA workers, the civil servants JACPA workers. The head of the civil service, Didi Wilson Jack, said that she has denied that the probe has stopped. She says the probe is still going on and that it's not being swept under the carpet. She said because the president had directed that they start to probe these civil servants, what they do is they will relocate and still continue to collect their salaries here. And as if they're still working. Yeah. So the president said they should probe it. So what has happened is now a lot of them are rushing back here to either take up their jobs again or they are resigning honorably. So she says she's saying that no.
Because I heard like CBN and some banks are now even giving people that went on study leave for so long and stuff, they're not giving them retirement packages.
They're just be going from there.
Yeah, they're changing a lot of things. I'm happy about that.
It's good because I think it's so dishonorable. Yeah. You be working there, working,
and then you're collecting salary.
And then you go on Twitter, you're abusing government.
Yes, so government abusing the country.
They are government now. Civil servants are governments. Don't forget.
Yeah. The government. It's true.
Yeah.
Listen, they are Nigerians like us.
My staff cannot travel and say they'll be collecting salary. I won't answer them.
Bloodbath in Benue as terrorist strike. Abia pensioners cry out over 9-month unpaid pension. Emeka Offor donates 10 houses worth 200 million naira to widows in Anambra. Auditor General's report, Lagos Assembly probes indicted MDAs. Absence of Judge Stolz Nnamdi Kanu's 50 billion naira suit against the federal government. Catholic Church procession turns bloody in Abia as 2 worshippers die and many injured. And federal government asks varsities to establish sexual assault referral centers. Okay, which story?
Yeah, so 2 persons were on Sunday confirmed dead, while many others were injured following an overflow of worshippers during a procession at the Christ the King Catholic Church, CKC, Aba, in Abia State. The procession titled Christ the King's Sunday is celebrated in the Roman Catholic Church at the Lutheran Church on the last Sunday of the liturgical year as a feast to mark Jesus Christ's messianic kingship and sovereign rule over all creations. So they said that during the procession organized by the Catholic Diocese of Aba urban parishes within the city, a lot of people came to the CKC premises along Asa Road to perform the yearly rites, and the procession was very, very full. They had a mammoth crowd, over the premises, and as a result of that, they said 2 aged women, slumped inside the premises, and by the time they were rushed to the hospital, they realized that they had died. So the women who were of the Holy Cross Parish, Aba, were believed to have died as a result of the suffocation that happened. They said many others slumped during the event. There was also another account that said there were up to 30 persons that slumped during that event. So they're trying to see how they can, first of all, they've reached out to the family of the victims that died, trying to see how they can, make amends in that regard. But they're also saying that they don't need all of them for subsequent celebrations, all of them to come to that particular parish. They can do it at their different parishes to avoid the mammoth crowd that usually comes together, because every year there are always people that would faint, but it's just this is the first time that 2 people were dying from that particular celebration.
It's sad because I'm Catholic.
That's right.
Yes, so through the Touch Life project, Sir Emeka Ofo Foundation donated 10 sets of 2-bedroom bungalows to 10 indigent widows in Orifite, Ekusigo local government area of Anambra State yesterday. That's huge. The beneficiaries were handed over the keys to the houses, which are fully furnished and worth over 200 million naira. Yes, this was commissioned by the wife of Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Mrs. Karimatu Mohammed Ali Patin, company of Governor Chukwuma Soludo, who spoke at the event. He said that he pledged that the enforcement of laws against oppressive practices in Anambra burial laws, including forceful shaving of heads and not letting women have the right to their properties, will be stopped and has been looked into. Yes. He also promised to contribute to the widows' upkeep through their various cooperatives. So yes, I'm from Anambra and from Onitsha to precise, and I know that the burial practices, a lot of things has been stopped. So I'm really proud of the governor for that.
So the federal government has called on universities to set up something called the Sexual Assault Referral Centers. It's been SACs, to address cases of sexual harassment and ensure timely interventions within the university communities. The Minister of Women Affairs, Iman Suleiman Ibrahim, made the call on a national summit on sexual harassment on tertiary institutions. Specifically said that, described the sexual harassment as a global menace and a pervasive violation of human rights, particularly against women and girls. She emphasized the effects of sexual harassment transcended physical and leaving survivors with emotional and psychological wounds and scars. The minister highlighted the present administration's commitment to zero tolerance of sexual harassment, especially in the universities. Moving on quickly to Daily Sun. Bloodbath in Benue as terrorist strike. I think I took this already. Okay.
Yes, we have.
Yes,
Vanguard.
you took it. So I was going to take the bloodbath in Benue, the headlines. Over 30 people were killed by invading terrorists in Benue State, in 2 local governments in Benue State. And the correspondent said even as he was writing the story, they were still killing people. Over 300 militia, they were terrorists, and they were disguised as headsmen. And the local government chairman was saying that they didn't look Nigerian. They came in from Nasarawa, but they looked slightly different from us, and they just killed people. They said 20 people killed on Sunday, 30 people were injured, 10 people were killed in Katsina. So it's a really terrible story, really terrible story.
Vanguard, GDP growth figures, more work needs to be done, says Tinubu. MME condemns smashing of Chevron pipelines in Delta. FG to National Assembly, we borrowed based on our approvals, on your approvals. 2027, opposition parties maul Granite Alliance against APC and Tinubu. Southwest lawmakers resolve to lobby governors. Southeast, sit-at-home persists despite Simon Ekpa's arrest. And only said drums support for Iguavon to lead Super Eagles. Okay, which story are we taking?
We could do the federal government, saying that they had to give insight into why they had exceeded their revenue targets and they were still borrowing. So they said that National Assembly, people are telling us, but we borrowed because we approved for us to borrow. And we borrowed because we needed to be able to show up the deficits in the budget. That's why we're borrowing. And then they listed all the things that they needed to do with the monies that they have borrowed. That's a long story. But then they talked about the fact about our passports. You know, now when you go to collect your passport, you get it very easily. So the government had to partner with private-public partnership. And they had realized that from the deal they signed, the private people are taking 70%, while government coffers just get 30%. And so they are trying to have a review of that to see why they are shortchanging Nigerians. They should not be shared in that manner. So they would give us more details on that at the end of the day. But however, it's very fast now when you go and apply for your passport. You get it very easy.
That's all we can take on Front Page Review. When we come back, we'll start with our special feature from Bastion Health. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.